Okay. As soon as you see my camera switch, that's your signal to unmute your microphone. Good evening and welcome to the TalkWrite podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Stennett, and tonight is Hot Tropics. My co-host, Nick Sullivan, is going to take over and introduce our guests, all tropical authors from our group, and some really, really talented writers. Take it over, Nick.
Okay, 1 second. Let me turn off the YouTube in the background, which is cross-talking at me. And all righty. Today we have, on Hot Tropics, we have Tom Turner, Don Rich, Mandy Miller, and Nicholas Harvey. And we also hear that Douglas Pratt is searching for internet, and he may join us as well. I thought it'd be sort of fun. We could ask all of you what your books are and your series are, but I think folks would be interested in where you are and what the weather's like. So let me start with.
This will be fun.
Yeah, I'll quickly go with me. It was 26 degrees here in New Jersey, up in the Lake Country here, and now it was 72. Tom, I bet you it's a little warmer where you are.
Delray Beach, 85.
Oh,
not too shabby.
Sunny. And Don, where are you at currently, and what's it like out?
Charlottesville, Virginia, and it's 83 and sunny.
Nice. Well, let's see. Mandy Miller, I'll wait for you to unmute, and let me skip ahead to Nicholas Harvey, who's in a very interesting place.
I'm in St. Martin, the Dutch side of the St. Martin Island in the Caribbean, and it's probably about 76 right now. There was probably a high of about 79, 80 today, and it's very nice.
Awesome.
That's the high every day, year round.
Pretty much.
And Wayne, I think most people know where you're from, but if we get some new folks in, where are you currently and what's it like out?
Right now I'm in Beaufort, South Carolina. It's today it was in the low 80s, probably in the low 70s now. Sunny, beautiful day. Tomorrow I'll be in Titusville, Florida, where I'll be meeting my great-grandson for the very first time. He's going to be born tomorrow afternoon sometime.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Well, I want to round this out with the other end of the scale. Mandy, where are you at and what's going on outside the window?
Well, if you wait long enough in the spring in Colorado, it'll be 4 seasons within the hour. So I'm in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, closing in on 600 inches of snow for the winter. And it's been snowing right up until 2 seconds ago, and now the sun is out, but that's only going to last a minute or two.
That's just a tease.
Now, Steamboat Springs, is there a steamboat?
Well, that's a story. There is not a steamboat because obviously it's landlocked, but when the French trappers came through here in the latter part of the 19th century, when they were coming into what is now the town, they heard this noise like a steamboat, and it turns out it was the hot springs running, and it makes this noise of a steamboat. We have a lot of naturally fed hot springs here, and so they named it Steamboat Springs, and that became the railroad stop because of the noise the hot springs make.
Wow. Is there any kind of maybe like volcanic activity deep down that's causing that? Like why in particular do you have hot springs?
They're very old mountains here. The mountains here are more rounded on the tops as opposed to down near Vail and Breckenridge and the lower part of the middle part of the state. They're very jaggy. These are very old mountains, so I assume there's some sort of old volcanic land there. But there are hot springs everywhere around here, which is nice for sitting around in. But yep.
Cool. All right, Wayne, you got any questions for our particular panelist, or do you have a hot topic for Hot Tropics?
Well, there's nothing on YouTube at present, but I don't know. We're all planning a sort of a get together just before NINC, and several of us are going to be there. So that might be something we could talk about.
Yeah, that's true. For those watching this, there is a group called Novelists Incorporated, but everyone just calls it NINC. And they have a get-together in September in Florida. So if you love tropical authors and you want to see a bunch of us, we will be in the St. Pete area. I don't know the exact dates. Wayne, do you happen to remember them? September 20th, roughly?
September 20th through the 23rd, I think, is the conference.
Yeah. So we may try to do like we maybe go to a book signing or something for a whole bunch of us.
Or just a pub crawl.
Or a pub crawl. Yeah,
one
honestly,
of the authors that comes every year is a pilot, and he takes authors up the days before the conference starts, Monday and Tuesday, and early Wednesday. He'll take people up flying around just for the fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got to get on, online for that.
Well, shoot, that might be a reason to come a little earlier. But yeah, we could, if fans of tropical authors want to come on down, we can sign your books at a brewery just as easily as we can sign at a bookstore. So we'll figure something out.
Is it sold out, Nick? Do you know? Is it? Can I still sign up for it? And do you know?
I actually don't know. Wayne, do you know if
they're close to sold out, if not sold out already? The registration opened, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
They sell out fast. Are you a member, Tom?
Yeah, I am. I don't know why I just didn't pull the trigger on it, but I'll try them later today or tomorrow.
Yeah, check it out and see if
that'd be great.
I know that the block of rooms that they had reserved is gone, and they're putting overflow people in Rumfish, which is right next door and part of the same resort. But really a really nice hotel.
Rumfish is great. I stayed there last year because I was late. I was tardy getting signed up. But what they'll do, Tom, is if they're full now, it'll open again for a very brief period of time as people drop out and change plans or what have you. They'll have a few spots open. So
got it. So I can get on a waiting list or be told when there's a spot.
They don't do a waiting list. They'll just suddenly say in the group email, registration is open again. And then 2 or 3 hours later, they'll close it.
Gotcha.
So you got to be ready.
All right.
Well, let's see. Britnick is in St. Martin, and I keep looking over his shoulder to see if I can make out Saba as the light changes. But
we got a bank of cloud on the horizon.
Yeah, I gotcha.
We had a bit of rain earlier today, and actually it was raining offshore. We've had very little rain on the island since we've been here, which is getting on for 5 weeks now. And but normally every day you can see Saba just about to the right of that palm tree behind me. And it's beautiful because it's just shaped like that, right? Because it's a volcano.
Yeah, if you're interested and you're watching this, go on to Google and look up Saba, add the word island because there's a company called Saba, but Saba Island, it's just the most amazing place on this planet. And Britnick's going to be heading over there. When are you heading over there?
Yeah, in 2 weeks we go. We're leaving on Friday, going for an overnight stay over there, diving on the Saturday morning. So have a chance to go look around. Fantastic. It's a neat place. Someone should write a book about it.
Yeah, all those islands in that northeast corner of the Caribbean, just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
and you were in Anguilla?
Yeah, Anguilla. Anguilla's like literally we were on a beach. So St. Martin, for those who don't know, St. Martin is split between Dutch and French side. And when you go across the border, there's armed guards and all these gates. No, there's not. There's nothing. You just drive down the road and all of a sudden you're in the French bit, you're in the Dutch bit. The islanders, it was actually, we were chatting with an islander and they're like, we don't care which, we don't call it French or Dutch. It's the island. And so anyway, we drove north and we were on a beach and looking at this stretch of land out that looked like it was probably a couple miles over there sort of thing. And Cheryl's like, so what part of the island is that? I thought the island went this way. I'm like, that's Anguilla. It's right there. And so the ferry ride was 25 minutes, which 10 of that is idling out of the marina to get going.
When we did that tall ship cruise, is a 400-foot 4-masted schooner, left St. Martin at what was it, 9 or 10 o'clock? No, it's about noon, right? And we literally, our first stop was Anguilla, and we didn't arrive there until the next morning. They just went out in the ocean and just sailed around, and the whole trip about wasn't where you going. It's how you getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. We enjoyed Anguilla a lot. We went diving. Vigilant Divers, actually a shout out to Rob, super guy, English chap over there who runs a really neat little dive up right off the beach in this little cove. And it was a pretty rough day, and he was like, we'll go out. And we dove a wreck. They've got about, I think he said 7 wrecks they put down as artificial reefs around the island. And there's a ton of little islands. There's Sandy Island, which is the one we actually did a reef dive really close to. And Sandy Island is literally that. It's sort of a bunch of sand that's sort of maybe 5 feet above the water. And on there is some scrub and a restaurant and a bar.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, it was really rough and the waves were rolling in when we were going. But they do the tours out there and take people out and stick them in deck chairs. And apparently it's a pricey endeavor to spend the day there. But it looked pretty good.
Don, I want to ask you a question here. I had some notes. Your books take place in the Eastern Shore
of Virginia.
So did you spend a lot of time there? What is your connection? It's a fascinating area. I drove through there on my way to Norfolk once and thought, what is this place?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, if it was Florida, there would be condos everywhere, and instead it's cornfields and soybean fields and cotton fields that run right down to the water. No, I go over there every now and then and try and get over there, and then also get over to the western side of the Chesapeake. And so I've got a new series that'll be coming out later this year that's based on the Tidewater area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, totally new. And I'll have a rapid release of about 3 different books to launch that series.
Well, Nick, you just had a new release, didn't you?
We got 2 Nicks.
Or Nick, I'm sorry.
He's talking to the one who just had a new release, Nick.
Oh, that's true. Well, I don't know.
Called,
is it a Tuesday? You might have one.
In these upper echelon technical videography groups, this is called a segue.
A segue. Oh, all right. But I wanted to know the title of this new series Don Rich is doing, and then I'll segue.
It's the preliminary title. The working title is the Riva series, because
RIVUH.
RIVAH. Around here,
Riva.
They call it going down to the river.
Going down to the river.
Yep.
I love that. Where
it's cooler in the summer, and of course the water is melted by then, which is nice.
I'm going to ask
from a little west of there in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yep. Oh, I know. Yeah, I can see Afton from my front yard.
Mm. All right, now let's segue.
Okay, we'll segue. I'll hold up the book here. Yes, this just came out, and I want to tell you something that I think is cool. I mean, reviews are great, sales are great, but something I thought that was really cool. When I was in South Caicos, the book takes place, part of it in South Caicos, which is real backwater compared to Grand Turk or Provo in Turks and Caicos. So when I went on to Google Maps to look up things, there was nothing. That some of them had no pictures for stores and for locations. A place called the Boiling Hole in the old Coast Guard station. So I started doing reviews for everything and putting up my own photos. The book came out last Tuesday, and all week I've been getting notifications from Google Maps. Your reviews are making a difference. 50,000 people have seen your photo, this and that. And then I started getting emails and people checking and going, hey, that photo in your newsletter, that was on Google Maps. I'm like, oh, yes. So there's something fun. If you ever set a book somewhere and you use a location, go in and put a review so that people can find it.
I've just added a review, a spot on Google Maps in Cayman, and it says Nora's Shack. For one of my characters has a
Cool.
shack, and it's been submitted. I'm waiting to see if it actually stays there or gets kicked out. But that'd be kind of
I need to submit Jesse's Island.
yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that would be cool.
just to brag on Nick a little bit, I'm listening to the audio book, which he had
I am too.
some punter read for him, and it's in case you don't know, he's a narrator by trade, so does a rather good job of it. And the descriptions of the islands and the history that's built into the story is absolutely outstanding. It's really, really cool. It makes you feel like you're sitting there, and there's a lot of local characters embedded in the story. Some people we both know actually, and
Yes.
Tukes
Some real, some Tukes.
yeah. Oh my God, everything.
He was so happy. Yeah, we
He's
have a
so
friend,
happy.
Tom Tewksbury, and
Yeah.
he's helped with the TCI Reef Fund, and I had a mooring ball repair thing, and I was like, "Do you mind being in this book?" Because Tukes is just an awful nice nickname. I really want
Yeah.
to use it, and yeah, he was thrilled. Putting
Yeah.
people in is a lot of fun. You got to get their permission first. But
Yeah, I just put my old boss in my new book.
did you like him?
Yeah, he's a great
Pretty
guy,
easy
actually.
Okay.
He's a great guy, and we're really, really good friends. He's the now runs Trackhouse Racing in NASCAR, and we worked together for twice actually during my time in racing. And yeah, I've made him this total asshole guy in my book.
They're doing pretty good this season too.
Yeah, Trackhouse are doing great. My mate Ross is second in points right now. He's doing well.
Well, Doug Pratt has a little bit of internet. He's actually watching the show.
Yeah, he's in a
He
bar.
can't get on the call. He's in
He
a
just
bar.
texted me. He's in a bar, and he's got okay internet, but it's loud. So
Well, ask him to chip in. Hey, Tom, you have a new book out, right? I know because it had an awesome cover, and I put it into the Tropical Authors newsletter the other day.
You can never go wrong with a babe in a bathing suit on the cover.
It did
what
well.
do you say? What do you say, Mandy?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. That sounds kind of like a bodice ripper sort of thing.
No, it's not. And I'm sorry if it sounded sexist. I promise I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of guy. But it's actually a woman who's on a boat, which is part of the story. So it sort of melds in. And anyway, I've gotten some good comments on it.
Sorry,
there was
Tom,
a-
I didn't mean
Yeah.
to.
Well, there was a gorgeous filter on it that it made it sort of look
Yes.
like I was like, oh, what time period? It had a classy kind of, I'm watching Perry Mason right now, but I'm sure yours is modern time, but it sort of transported me. It kind of looked like one of those noir books.
Well,
It should.
Yes, but if you look really closely, you'll see that there's some sort of palm leaves off to the side. Now, that's in the middle of, they're on their way to a place called Harbor Island. And it's in the middle of the ocean. Why are there palm leaves? I never spotted that until it was a done deal. But it's like, what? Why is that there? Anyway.
Wayne, do we have any?
Delray Deadly. If you
Delray Deadly.
Yeah, if you got nothing better to do, read it.
Oh, wait.
Looks like Wayne's got something.
Wayne's got something. I thought he was holding up Delray Deadly, but no, it's Fish On.
Fish On is the 25th novel in the Jesse McDermott series. And I'm going to have to rephrase that. It's the 25th novel in the old Jesse McDermott series.
Yeah.
The first novel in the new Jesse McDermott series will be in November. And that's going to be fun.
Let our viewers know what's the hook on this new series?
Well, Jesse spent 20 years in the Marine Corps, and military gets 1 month a year annual leave, and he always goes someplace nice and exotic and gets into trouble. And his first leave is when he gets out of boot camp, where he just met this young guy, much shorter than him with red hair, whose name was Jim Thurman. And then halfway through boot camp, he becomes Rusty Thurman. And it's going to be so much fun just revisiting all these real things that he is always referenced in the books, but you never meet the people, like Rusty's parents and Jesse's parents and Jesse's grandparents, Mam and Pap. They actually have names. And
So what age is Jesse at this time?
in the first book, he is 17 years old.
Wow.
Straight out of high school, first right into boot camp, same as I did. And all the Nick and I were talking about it. The audiobook's going to be absolutely off the hook. When that bus pulls up at the receiving barracks at Paris Island, that drill instructor gets on and starts yelling and screaming, and all these people, just all these drill instructors yelling at one time. And Nick's going to master this so that you can hear all their different voices yelling different commands and stuff at the same time.
I'm looking forward to bouncing 3 separate tracks so they come out as one audio file. I've done it before in a sci-fi.
It's going to be classic. It will be a classic.
You're not too far from Paris Island now, are you, Wayne?
8 miles.
Wow.
On a clear day, I can hear the rifle range.
My mom lives in Tennessee, and on a clear day, I can hear rifle ranges too.
Yeah.
And actually, on cloudy days, rainy days, doesn't matter. Backyard.
You remember the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg?
Mm-hmm.
And they're driving. He's got the little Indian guy with him, and he wakes up and says, "Where are we?" He says, "We're in Tennessee, patron state of blowing shit up."
I remember playing. I was a kid on my tricycle going around and around in the end of our driveway, and hearing a big boom from down in the holler, and a snap, and a whole bunch of branches came loose. And we later found shotgun shells down there. They were deer hunting, shooting uphill.
Why don't you have an accent?
I've tried to strip it as an actor, but my mother is from Kansas, from Mennonite stock.
Okay.
And my dad is from Tennessee, but he's from the old Callahan family. So they were, they had those big houses and stuff. So
aristocracy.
Neither of my parents had a very strong accent, which helped.
Yeah.
But when I went to acting school, they're like, "Why do you say insurance?" I'm like, "Oh,
that's the way
syllable." Okay, all right, yeah.
Nick actually does have an accent. The persona that we hear all the time is just him acting.
Well, I sort of think about having a beer down in Tennessee when I start one of Wayne's books, and it comes back just a little.
Gotcha.
You all have
Mandy,
accents to me.
I grew up in West Virginia, and when we moved to Florida, I had a really thick accent, and I was teased mercilessly. So fortunately, I was still young. I was only 12 years old, so I was able to lose that accent to a certain degree, but sometimes I still wash my hands in water.
My mother says wash, which I thought was a Midwest thing. My dad didn't say it. Mandy, where are you from originally? And I want to hear about your series, because I don't, have we had you on before?
No, I've just been toiling away here in absentia.
Well, where are you from originally? Go ahead.
I'm from Edinburgh, Scotland, and I don't have an accent, but I used to. So I did have an accent. So
can you turn it on?
Oh yeah.
Let's hear.
When I get out of rehab on Sunday, me and the Easter Bunny might have a little chat. So yeah, I'm from Scotland originally, but I've lived all over the place. Obviously lived a long time in Florida, which is where the books are set, at least the Grace series, the Grace Luck series. The first 2 are out. The third one yesterday, I put the end on the first draft. So
Hey.
I guess that's progress, lots to do still, but so there's that series. And There'll maybe be, I have one draft of a book written in another series from one of the characters from the Grace series. So if you've read the books, the Vinny character, the mobster landlord knee
Yeah.
breaker, he gets his own series. So the first book is written, it's called Invincible. But on Wayne and Nick's advice, I thought it was better to have another Grace book, at least one more, before I got back to that. So that's kind of where I'm at with those two. But I anticipate that the Vinny series is different. It's not as noir, it's not as dark, it's much more jokey and fun. And so it's kind of a different tone.
Where were you in
knee
Florida,
breakers
man?
to light books. I like that.
What's that?
Books, the knee breaker books are the light books.
Yeah, right, right, exactly.
Of course.
What's that, Tom?
Where in Florida did you live?
Southeast. So many years ago, I went to the University of Miami to undergraduate, which is a whole, how I got there is a whole long story. But and then I moved away and I came back much later and lived in Miami for a while, and then mostly in Broward County. So Fort Lauderdale, around there, which is where the books are set.
Gotcha.
That's
By
where
the
I
way,
practiced
Edinburgh
for a long time.
is one of the great cities there
I
is.
beg your pardon?
Edinburgh, one of the great cities there is.
It is.
I love
Yeah, it's quite cleaned up and Tony now compared to when I was a kid. It was quite gritty
it. Was it?
when I
Really?
was growing up.
When did you leave?
College. But so yeah, when I went to college, I at the last moment left Scotland and came to the States and then never left after that. So yeah.
I might need to reach out to you because on the advice of many of my author friends, I'm going to finally write a prequel. And I had my one of my two main characters, Boone Fisher, went to the University of Miami after his summer job working as a aquarium cleaner at Gatlinburg. And I know very little about it. I just knew some of the majors they had there that I thought would be good. So I might beg you for a little bit of information about
Oh yeah, I'd be glad. When I was there, it was also a lot grittier. It seems like when I leave places, they get cleaned up. But when I
I'm
was
not gonna
there,
touch that.
it was definitely it had an image as a real party school. Unfortunately, I was a serious student, so I graduated in 3 years because I didn't think I could hold on any longer without just sort of either being in jail or losing my mind. So I was there in the go-go drug days, the late 70s, early 80s, when it was the cartel days. So it was an absolutely fabulous time to be there in terms of sort of having ideas for stories and characters. Right now, it's actually hard to get into, and it's gotten a lot fancier, which is sort of unfortunate in a way. I liked kind of the ghetto image, but yes, please do call. It's an interesting spot. I went from there to a very fancy law school, so it was quite a shift.
I was just
Where
there,
was
actually,
that?
right down the road from the school on Gable. We
Mhm.
stayed on Gable when I was in Miami for a couple of days the other week.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, the sun has set,
it's
Nick.
Yeah. Did you see the cruise ship go by?
No,
couldn't
the
make
flo-
it out.
The floating wreck dive. It was it was lights on the horizon for a while there. It was like slowly going that way to that way. It's gone now.
Have to
You got-
squint.
you got a tough job there, man.
Well, does Doug Pratt have anything to give us from his perch at a bar stool?
He was ribbing you about banjos playing, and then he says he loves Edinburgh. But otherwise, I think he's just getting drunk and not saying anything too intelligent yet.
Nothing wrong with that.
I can say that because he's my friend and co-writer in a series.
And also, you work with him, and I imagine it's the reason that you bothered to pack a microphone on a trip to St. Martin. You're doing a podcast with Doug Pratt. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, the two
Yeah.
authors chat show, which
Two authors chat show. That sounds
It's
interesting.
absolutely
Very British.
It's very, very well put together, really good sound.
Yeah, it's good.
Editing, just the whole thing. We can't do that
Thanks.
on this show because we're live, you're recorded and cut and edited and pasted and voiceovers and all. Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Have you had Thacker on yet, or is that a future one?
No, we had
Yeah,
Thacker.
he's
He
on
was
last
Had him
on
on.
episode
Last
2. Yeah,
time.
4 just came out today with AJ Stewart, who, hey, if you wanted someone in exotic climes, AJ should have been on tonight. He's in Fiji right now.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm currently writing my part of Faceless, which I'll be handing over to Nick here by the end of the week, hopefully.
I tagged him, but it's like 6 o'clock in the morning in Fiji.
Yeah, the time differences. We were trying to have
He ain't gonna be up that early.
Yeah, we were trying to chat the other day about something, and it just doesn't work. So, but yeah, thanks for mentioning the podcast. It's been a lot of fun, actually. We kind of didn't know what we were getting into, but we've got this chap Sam in the UK who edits it for us, and we get to the end of the show and we're like, well, that was fun, but I bet it's a mess. and it plays it back, and it's kind of like, huh. Well, that sounds all right. So, he's a freaking genius, I think, this chap, Sam. But yeah, we've had a few guests on. We have a friend of mine, James Hinchcliffe, who's a former IndyCar driver, and he's now a commentator for NBC Sports. And he was also on Dancing with the Stars a couple of years ago and was runner-up. So, and he's a really entertaining guy. And he's spends the summer spends the winter, I should say, in the Bahamas. So we chatted to him from his place in the Bahamas.
That was a really interesting show too. Yeah.
Yeah, the next AJ's is really good because he's a great storyteller. Go figure. And next in 2 weeks, they're coming out every 2 weeks, and the next one is another mate of mine from racing he's hilarious. He's a former pro hockey player who now coaches. He was jackman for NASCAR. He went from hockey to being a jackman over the wall, back when they were 7-man crews and everything else. And he moved on to coaching the teams. He runs track houses over the wall crew, and also has a splinter deal now. He's written a book and does talks for people. And he's this huge, intimidating Canadian ice hockey player. And he teaches how to, manage with empathy and what have you. It's pretty funny. So that's a fun show. That'll be out in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll have you all on at some point down the road.
Your buddy, if he's a huge hockey player, was he what they call an enforcer?
Yeah, pretty much. I give him shit at the beginning of the show. Like, were you a particularly good skater? He's like, no, not really.
So they would sick you on the guy who was good.
Yeah.
Just beat him to.
Hanson brothers from Slapshot.
Yeah.
Well, we've got about 10 people watching the show live right now on YouTube. And so far, let's see who's commenting. Douglas.
He's just making rude comments.
Yeah, he's just making rude comments. Have another drink, Doug.
Well, if you're watching and you got a question for anybody, it's already 7:04. So now is your time to jump on and hit us with a question on YouTube.
Yeah, we're in overtime now. So if you got anything to say, just go to the chat. You have to be on YouTube, not on Facebook. We shared this on Facebook too, but you have to be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wayne Stinnett. And there you can join the chat.
Just a quick question to Britt Nick. Do you know a guy named John Gorsline?
Yeah.
In racing?
Yeah, I do actually.
Insurance guy, right?
Yeah.
He insures all.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's this crazy business where people insure race cars, which is like insanity. But he does a lot of other insurance too. But I don't know if they're still doing it that way. But they used to do it. You could insure your race car. It wasn't cheap.
Well, he's down. He lives right down a few doors down from where I live. So I figured you'd probably.
If I was an insurance broker for that kind of insurance, it would cost you the price of the car. It's going to be destroyed.
You can't get insurance for a house in Florida, but you can get insurance for a race car, you know?
Exactly. Well, you figure 40 cars start the race. There's only about five of them that get destroyed. So if you insured all 40 at a decent rate, you're gonna make out in the end of the day. But yeah, tell him I said hi. I haven't spoken to
I
him or
will.
seen him in
I
years,
will.
but
I see him all the time. Will
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Talladega and Daytona and Atlanta excluded.
Yeah, they don't insure those things. They don't insure cup cars at all. It was open wheel racing where they were doing insurance and probably sports cars, but not a chance in NASCAR. We should mention the tropical author novels that are coming out soon, right? Well, Shameless did fantastic. And that came out, well, that's over a month ago now that came out. Yeah.
February 28th.
So what's the next one? Priceless, which is
July 5th.
no, it's before that, I think, Wayne.
Hey,
It's May, I think. Yeah.
Oh, May. Yeah, that's right. May.
Yeah.
And you've got the final edit is done on that. Have all the changes been made?
Not completely. It's close though. Don's hogging it right now.
you'll get it tomorrow.
Take your time. I'm busy.
Free beer tomorrow.
Yeah, that's Deborah Brown, Don, and myself did Priceless, and it's a novella, but actually it's come out. I think it's longer than Shameless, but we left it a novella. So and it's a lot of fun. And then Faceless, which is AJ Stewart, myself, Nick, and Chris Niles. And that's coming out later this year, and I'm doing the third section of it, and then it'll go to Nick to bring it home, and it's fun. It's really fun.
Excellent. And I'm so thrilled. Wayne, one of my characters I offered up to you to take out or do whatever you wanted with him, but you didn't take me up on it. So
I didn't
now he's in Faceless.
Yep.
I refer to this guy as the anti-Jesse.
That's awesome. Oh, you're talking about
This
Angler.
is Angler.
Angler, yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait. You know what his real name is? Because Nick gave me free reign to give him a real name.
No. He doesn't have a real name.
He does now. You gave me free reign.
Oh,
to name him.
Yeah. No, but don't say that part.
You don't want me to? You don't want me to tell you?
Oh,
no,
come on,
not
I
yet.
wanna know.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't change the story any. It doesn't give anything away.
Oh, I think it's fun. If you read Deep Devil, Angler's going to have a name, but you have to buy Faceless to find out.
Oh, you're killing me. I want to say
it.
Well played.
There we go. All right. Did anyone bite? Do we have a query?
No, just Doug making comments.
All right,
Doug said, Britnick, aren't you writing a book with a handsome fellow from Memphis? We're writing a book called Missing in the Keys together. So that's what Doug is referring to. And he just had a great, his Havana Sunrise just came out.
Yes.
Not that long ago, at the beginning of last month. I think it's been out a month. And it did really, really well. I think his best one to yet.
I think it's still in the top categories.
Yeah, Doug's doing great.
I was doing pretty well until Steve Becker came out with a book and knocked me out of.
Don't you love that? And that guy who brought out Fish On a little while back, that thing is still hanging out at the top.
I know, it's so sticky.
Everybody's way.
It just went into Kindle Unlimited, so it's going to stick there for a little while longer.
You and Cap.
Next time I put a book out.
Well, Cap has like 20 that are in the top 50 of Sea Adventures.
Oh, he's killing it. It's great.
Speaking of Cap, I just got an email from him in response to a query I sent earlier today. Next month, May 2nd, will be the 3rd anniversary of this show. It'll be season 4, episode 1, and Cap Daniels is going to be on the show with us.
Nice. Great.
It's getting to be a regular thing now. He was on the very first one. He was on the first show of the 2nd season, first show of the 3rd season. So we're bringing him back. Maybe he'll fly in again.
Yeah, maybe he'll fly there and you can pin him down on Ruthless.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
That's it. If we could drag
there is an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Get him to the tiki bar at Nink and we'll get him to write it.
Well, by then it'll be a little too late.
Now that's going to happen one day.
Yeah, we'll get
Oh,
it.
yeah. I think it'll be a great story.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, you got anybody have anything else? Any more big announcements? Anything coming up in
I
the
got
future?
I got Burning Summer coming out at the end of this month. That's my next one. It's the next in the
New
Nora
Nora
Summer.
Summers book.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's with my ARC readers right now.
Where's
just-
my ARC? You were going to send me an ARC link.
I did send it to you. Listen,
No,
you.
you didn't.
So this guy in Virginia. So there's something about the border of Virginia that doesn't let things like technology come on in there. So and I'm not the only one. It's not a St. Martin Island thing. Let me tell you, because Deborah Brown keeps getting sending him
You
stuff,
and
and he's like,
Brown.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
They just put fiber out in front of the house. I'll get that. Then you can't give me.
When he's
So
saying
what's the other
fiber,
end connected to?
yeah. When
you
you
just
see-
you mean bits of yarn or like what?
when he's talking about
Hey,
fiber, he's talking
hey,
about a
Nick.
box of Raisin Bran. That's what they just put out front. That's the closest thing they get to fiber in Virginia.
Well, you are familiar with the war between the states, right? So,
War
might
of
have
Northern
something to do with
Aggression.
the Northern
War.
aggression. Yeah.
Actually, I had people on both sides, so
Yeah, so did I. My
Yeah.
mother's family came originally from Ohio. My father's family came originally from Virginia. I have a great grandfather on both sides that were both in the same battle at Appomattox.
Oh wow.
And
Cool.
Oh, wow.
one was injured by artillery and the other one was an artilleryman.
ugh.
The odds are astronomical that one calls the other, but that's just romantic as
know.
hell, man.
Make a great book.
My family just kind of slinked away and went, you guys have at it.
No, we ran your family out in 1776.
And again in 1812.
and look what you've done with the place.
Hey.
All righty. Well, is it dinner time, I guess?
It's getting
is-
close.
it is for me.
All righty.
Let's go ahead and wind this thing down. And I want to thank you guys, everybody, for being on here. It's been a lot of fun, lively discussion, as always. And before we cut out, has anybody got a new release coming?
I did mine.
You did yours. Anybody else? Nope. Okay.
Maybe August. We'll see.
Maybe August. That'll be cool.
Yeah, my big news is I thought I was kind of not fancy enough for them, but I applied to this writer's residency in Alaska, which I got accepted to. It's kind of fancy. I thought I wasn't maybe literary enough for them or whatever, but it turns out that the person who started the residency is a mystery writer. So I ended up getting accepted. So I'm going to Alaska for a month next week.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh,
Colorado
And,
wasn't cold enough for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
not
know,
enough
right?
snow.
So let me go even further north. So there is where the work I plan to do there is finishing the third Grace book. So depending on when that gets sorted, it could be July, I hope, or maybe August.
Great.
Super.
yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you guys for being here. And it's been a blast. When we close out, don't exit the room because we got a little after party going after that. But anyway, thanks for being on here. And thanks again to our supporters, Tropical Authors, Pirate Radio, Down Island Press, Down Island Publishing, Aurora Publicity, and How Not to Sail. Gotcha. Good night, everybody.